Alright guys, so now we are starting to talk about division. I know you guys are excited. I've heard it all throughout multiplication. Hey, when are we going to do division, Mr. G? Well, now we are. If subtraction is the opposite of addition, then division is going to be the opposite of multiplication. So if you know how to multiply, then you're going to be able to know how to divide, and that's a really cool thing. Okay? So let's take a look and first see what division is. Division means to separate a large group of objects into several small equal groups. Okay? So we're going to take a large amount and divide it into smaller equal groups. This is why I said it's the opposite of multiplication, because in multiplication, remember, we had equal groups and then we multiplied to see how much we had all together. Well, this is the opposite. We have a big amount all together, and now we're going to share them equally and divide them into smaller groups. As you see what this looks like, I think you'll catch on really quick. So here we have 8 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to divide them into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal groups. Okay, so we're dividing them into equal groups. Here's what that's going to look like. Okay, let me slide up a little bit. We're going to divide 8 apples into 4 equal groups. So 1, 2. I'm taking these apples and I'm dividing them equally. Notice how I'm putting the same amount in each group. So what my division problem looked like was 8 apples divided by, here's the symbol for division, it's going to look like this, okay? And you can see it down at the bottom of the screen as well, so let's scroll down here. Okay, 8 divided by 4 is going to equal 2. And that's what I was showing you up here. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. And so what I'm saying here is I had this first number is going to be the big amount. I'm dividing it into 4 groups, and it's going to give me 2 apples in each group. Okay? The other way I can think about this is I could take 8 apples, I could divide it and put 4 in each group, and then I would end up having 2 groups. Okay? And that's going to look something like this. I take those same 8 apples up here, okay? I'm going to put 4 in each group, okay? So I'm going to have 1 group of 4, and then I'm going to put 4 in another group. And this time when I was saying 8 divided by 4, what I was saying was I have 8 apples, I'm going to put 4 in each group. How many groups do I have? Well, I have 2. And this makes sense in multiplication, because if you think about it this way, okay, let's separate these into my groups again. If you guys had seen this problem and I said, well, what's the repeated addition, or what's the multiplication sentence, you would said, oh, it's 2 apples plus 2 apples plus 2 plus 2, or I would have 4 2's. So 4 times 2 is equal to 8 apples altogether. The other way, I would say, oh, well, I had 2 groups, there are my 2 groups again in those green circles, okay? I have 2 groups, and I divided it by putting, I multiplied, I had 4 in each group, so 2 times 4 is 8, okay? So again, division is just the opposite of multiplication. I'm taking a big amount, and I'm sharing it equally and dividing it equally into groups. Let's take a look at another example on the next page. Here I have 12 pieces of candy, and I want to separate them into 3 bowls. Okay? Well, I'm going to do this equally. So how many candies am I going to end up dividing into each bowl? Here are my 3 bowls. There are my 12 candies. And I'm going to end up putting 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first bowl. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 in the second bowl, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in the third bowl. They're divided equally between 3 bowls. So if I take my 12 candies and I divide them by 3 bowls, so I have 12 divided by 3 is going to equal 4 candies in each bowl, like we just saw. So I'm taking this large amount up here, all these candies up here, I divide them into 1, 2, 3 bowls equally, and I had 4 candies in each bowl. So division is taking a large amount and dividing it and sharing it equally. It's the opposite of multiplication. Now, let's take a look at what division facts, and you can think of these like fact families. Like the fact family of 2 plus 3 equals 5, right? Well, we have division and multiplication fact families as well. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 3 plus 2 equals 5. So therefore, 5 minus 2 equals 3. And 5 minus 3 would equal, well, 2. It's the same thing with multiplication and division. Here we have 8 times 2 equals 16. So that means we have 16 divided by 2 would give me 8. If I had 16, I broke it up into 2 groups, I would have 8 in each group. Okay? Or if I did 16 divided by 8 groups, I would have 2 in each group. It's a fact family just like subtraction. So if I know that 8 times 2 equals 16, then if I look at a problem like 16 divided by 2 or 16 divided by 8, I should easily be able to figure that out because I know my multiplication facts. Now, if you have division facts that are the same, like this one here, 2 times 2 equals 4, then there's only going to be one division fact for that, and that would be 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And that's simply because if I divide by this 2 right here, it's going to give me this 2, which is 2. If I divide by this 2, it's going to give me this 2. So it's the same fact. So if the multiplication numbers are the same, there's only going to be one division fact for it. So here we go. I want you to pause the video right now and try this on your own. We have 2 multiplication problems. I want you to see if you can figure out what the division answers will be. So we have 8 times 3. So now I want you equals 24. So I have 8 groups of 3 equals 24. So what I want you to do is I want you to figure out what would the division number sentences look like. It'd be 24 divided by what equals what. Okay, there's 2 of them. Alright, well if you pause the video and you take some time to try this on your own, then this is what it's going to look like. Okay? If we know that 8 times 3, and remember in multiplication, if 8 times 3 equals 24, 3 times 8 equals 24. So if I took 24 and I was dividing it by 8, then I know my answer should be 3. It would be equal to 3. If I took 24 and I divided it by 3, then I know my answer would be 8. This is the same thing as fact family because I know what my multiplication facts are here. I can figure out my division facts here. This bottom one's going to be the same thing. If 6 times 2 equals 12, then I should be able to know that 12 divided by 6 equals 2. Or I should be able to know that 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. Here's some different terms. And the division problem can be written like this. We saw this symbol up here. It could also be written this way with this funky little bar looking thing here, where the number in the middle is our dividend. The number over here in the front would be our dividend. The divisor is the number we're dividing by, and the quotient is going to be our answer. So here's our divider. Here's our divider. This is our divisor, the number we're dividing by. So if I'm taking 6 and I'm dividing by 2, I'm saying I'm creating 2 equal groups. My quotient is going to be my answer. It's going to be how many is going to be in each group when I divide. And finally, again, these are just 2 different ways to write division. I have 10 divided by 2, or I have 10 divided by 2. One, you go ahead and we'll finish up this video, pause it. You tell me, if I take 10 and I divide it into 2 equal groups, how many equal groups, or how many in each equal group am I going to have? What is 10 divided by 2? One way to think about this is, what number times 2 would equal 10? If I know my multiplication, then I should be able to figure this out. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. Good luck.